Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? This is a real quick one. This is basically a call to scientists, a call to science to just stop for a minute and think about what you're doing. If you're a scientist, and it doesn't matter what part, which angle of science you're involved in, if you're a scientist, I'm begging you to look at things rationally and look at things with your heart as well as your mind. I know a lot of folks may think, oh, don't go with, your emotions. Go with, go with the research, and the science. And sometimes it's best to go with your emotions on certain things. There is a lot of confusion in the world right now because things are changing fast, and I think science needs to change to keep up with the discoveries it's making. There are a lot of things going on in the world that are being processed in their own time and in their own way by each individual in their own way, and I understand that there is a method that a person needs to follow in order to be a valid scientist that's respected by his peers. And I'm not going to argue any specific points or say that science is wrong or that religion is right or religion is wrong and science is right, because I don't think that way. I find a nice balance to where everything is necessary, and at the same time, that means that we have to accept each other's opinions and ideals as well. And my quick point is that science. I would hope that scientists would stop insulting creationists, and creationists would stop insulting scientists, and everyone could just figure out how to get along here and realize that the universe is a fantastic place to live. There are a lot of mysteries and unknowns, and not everyone's a fool just for what they think. But I know the truth that I feel in my heart when something's right and wrong, and all I'm doing is asking scientists to not be afraid to follow their heart if something feels right, because we owe it to each other. If we're going to spend years, pursuing science, I wanted to, get into biological sciences and natural sciences so I could go out and, do tests in nature and whatnot. I'm too critical about the methods used in science, and it's too rigid of a structure for me. And I understand why it's rigid, and I'm not saying it shouldn't be. But with that rigidity comes a paradigm and development of a belief system that people get locked into, and that's what I don't want. I'd rather be a jack of all trades and kind of know a little bit about each subject. And that's what I want scientists to realize, which is the main point of this, is that while you may be specific in one thing, and that's what you do for 8 hours a day, and you're very, you know everything about what you do, just realize that there are people out there who know just as good and are just as sure about what they believe, which might even, be counterintuitive to what you already know. But even more than that, there are people out here who spread ourselves very thin over a wide, vast area in order to kind of incorporate each idea into our system of belief slowly, and we can process things without readily discarding them or accepting them. And I think that science is too quick to discard things that seem ridiculous right off the bat. They don't even want to do the tests. I mean, I'm amazed at how many scientists really still just don't believe that, they don't even believe that there's maybe a magnetic field or that the humans have a connection, a mental connection, even though we've been using telepathy for years and remote viewing, and it's become basically, science become basic knowledge that we all can share thoughts and pass information to one another somehow. And although we haven't been able to detect these fields, it doesn't mean they don't exist. And this is, I think, the biggest problem, is that there are a lot of fields out there that can't be detected yet, and scientists are quick to throw them out and say, well, if we can't measure it, it doesn't exist. I mean, I'm still disgusted with the idea that many scientists are happy with the explanation that the Big Bang came out of something that's smaller than a pinhead, and here it all is. Yeah, even if you go back and you do the homework behind that, which you can't because you can't understand how everything could be compressed into something that small, but it still doesn't explain what came before that. You can't argue God for God or against God, and convince someone 100% that they're right or wrong. It just doesn't work. We live in a society where each person has individual idea of what empirical evidence is, and I think that when we start to really just stop laughing at people and then explain rationally our side of things, we can start to get people out of office, the people that are running some of our states and some of our federal government who really believe the earth is only 9,000 years old, or some of the beliefs are so extreme they're taking the Bible literally. Anybody who's studied any comparative religion or astrotheology or philosophy or any type of eccentric, odd, different studies beyond just the straight Bible, you realize that the Bible is symbolic of, man's body, man's pursuit of knowledge. When people talk about Satan, it's when people talk about good and evil, they're talking about, the good and evil within man, and men have the right to make a decision whether they want to choose to be good or be bad. And I think good is the overwhelming majority of people who prefer to be good and honest, and I think that in science it's important that we be good and honest in everything we do. And so if a person, if any scientist watching this who's out there doing things right and they feel in their heart they're doing everything right to better mankind with their science that's really helping all of mankind, hats off to you. No, I mean literally, serious. No, that's awesome. I'm only speaking to those who know in their hearts that what they're doing is not helping the world, and they're not accepting belief systems that others have. So just preaching a little bit more tolerance and trying to live it too. So much love to everyone. Peace.